Today is September 12th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we're going to continue our journey through Chapter 5, How It Works. We're going to be reading the bottom of page 61 and top of 62. We're a little ahead of the 12 and 12, so we're going to skip the reading for that today. But we will be jumping into the daily reflection and 24 hours a day. We'll be reading today's entry. So with that, hope you all are doing well today, my friends. We've been given a brand new set of 24 hours. So no matter what we did yesterday, whether we completely nailed it and got things right and all was good, or whether we completely just tripped up, really doesn't matter, because at this point, all we have is now. We can learn from our mistakes and show up best for those we love today. So with that, let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. Okay guys, so out of the Big Book, we've been talking in the last couple of days about this actor who's trying to run the whole show. And, he might be kind. He might be self-sacrificing and modest, but he also might be egotistical and selfish and dishonest. But regardless, because not everybody's doing exactly what he hopes they'll do, he becomes angry and indignant and self-pitying. So we are going to explore that a little bit more on bottom 61. Our actor is self-centered. Egocentric, as people like to call it nowadays. He is like the retired businessman who lolls around in the Florida sunshine in the winter, complaining of the sad state of the nation. The minister who sighs over the sins of the 20th century. Politicians and reformers who are sure that all would be utopia if the rest of the world would only behave. The outlaw safecracker who thinks society's wronged him. And the alcoholic who has lost all and is locked up. Whatever our protestations, are not most of us concerned with ourselves, our resentments, and our self-pity? Selfishness, self-centeredness. That, we think, is the root of our troubles. Driven by 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-seeking, and self-pity, we step on the toes of our fellows and they retaliate. Sometimes they hurt us, seemingly without provocation. But we invariably find that at some time in the past, we've made decisions based on self, which later placed us in a position to be hurt. So our troubles, we think, are basically of our own making. They arise out of ourselves, and the alcoholic is an extreme example of self-will run riot, though he usually doesn't think so. Above everything, we alcoholics must be rid of this selfishness. We must, or it kills us. God makes that possible. And there often seems no way of entirely getting rid of self without His aid. Many of us had moral and philosophical convictions galore, but we could not live up to them even though we would have liked to. Neither could we reduce our self-centeredness much by wishing or trying on our own willpower. We had to have God's help. Daily Reflection, September 12th. I am responsible. For the readiness to take full consequences of our past acts and to take responsibility for the well-being of others at the same time is the very spirit of Step 9. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 87. In recovery, and through the help of Alcoholics Anonymous, I learned that the very thing I fear is my freedom. It comes from my tendency to recoil from taking responsibility for anything. I deny, I ignore, I blame, I avoid. Then one day I look, I admit, I accept. The freedom, the healing and the recovery I experience is in the looking, admitting, and accepting. I learn to say, yes, I am responsible. When I can speak those words with honesty and sincerity, then I am free. "24 hours a day, September 12th. AA thought for the day. What draws newcomers to AA and gives them hope? They hear the stories of men and women whose experiences tally with their own. The expressions on the faces of the women, that undeniable something in the eyes of the men, the stimulating atmosphere of the AA club room conspire to let them know that there is haven at last. The very practical approach to their problems, the absence of intolerance of any kind, the informality, the genuine democracy, the uncanny understanding that these people in AA have is irresistible. Have I found a real haven in AA? Meditation for the day. If thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. The eye of the soul is the will. If your will is to do the will of God, to serve Him with your life, to serve Him by helping others, then truly shall your whole body be full of light. The important thing is to strive to attune your will to the will of God. A single eye to God's purpose, desiring nothing less than His purposes be fulfilled. Try to seek in all things the advance of His kingdom. Seek the spiritual values of honesty and purity, unselfishness and love, and earnestly desire spiritual growth. Then your life will emerge from darkness of futility into the light of victory. Prayer for the day. I pray that my eye may be single. I pray that my life may be lived in the light of the best that I know. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading. Man, I love the reading out of the big book because it is so true. Selfishness and self-centeredness, that we think is the root of our troubles. I know it's been the root of my trouble. Driven by 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-seeking, and self-pity, we step on the toes of our fellows and they retaliate. I know that for me, anytime I mess up, usually it's rooted in fear of some kind. Anger, honestly, is just a symptom of my fear. When I'm angry at somebody, usually something's been threatened in me. Whether it's an insecurity I haven't really dealt with or prayed about, the fear of being alone, or the fear of not being liked or accepted. But the thing is, for me, I learned very, very quickly in the program that there will be some people that like you, and there will be some that don't, no matter if you're wearing a mask or if you're being your true self. So you might as well just be yourself, right? And when I like me, I really don't care if other people like me. When I accept myself as I am, not as I should be, I really don't care so much about what other people think. And if God be for me, then why would I care about what other people think? It's like I know these things, but sometimes I got to remind myself of these things. But I love the next line. So our troubles, we think, are basically of our own making. For me, it's all in my head. My biggest problem in my life is me. My biggest enemy in my life has always been me. It's my perspective, how I view the world. This is the next line. They arise out of ourselves, and the alcoholic is an extreme example of self-will run riot, though he usually doesn't think so. Above everything, we alcoholics must be rid of this selfishness. We must, or it kills us. That is a truth. But who makes that possible? For me, can I willpower this out of my life, this mindset? Maybe for a little bit. But the next line seems to be what works for me the best. God makes that possible. There often seems no way of entirely getting rid of self without His aid. Every single day, my friends, I have to get here right before I record. I have to pray. And I have to get on my knees. And I usually say the third step prayer, and that really helps me. I try to focus on what I'm actually praying. God, I offer myself to you. I don't want to run the show today. I offer my life to you, to build with me and do with me as you will. Relieve me of the bondage of self, that I may better do your will. Take away my difficulties and defects. And I've got plenty. That victory over these things may bear witness to those I would help of your power, your love, and your way of life. May I do your will always, and I always like to change it to, may I do your will today. Because all I can do is manage this 24 hours, and I really want to try to do God's will today, whatever that might be. I try to do this every single day because I'm still a selfish, self-centered son of a gun. I still can be. It's a daily reprieve contingent on the maintenance of my spiritual condition. And I'm so grateful to be alive today because that's another opportunity to change. So my friends, that's all I have for today. As always, I don't speak on behalf of AA or NA or Al-Anon or any other sect, denomination. I'm just a guy, just a drunk. Grateful to be sober today and grateful that you're here. If we are given another set of 24 hours, my friends, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.